What's up, disc golfers? Joe here with Joe's Disc Golf, and no, I'm not coming to you live. This is a pre-recorded segment. Well, that is a topic that I'm going to be going into here shortly after we get this started, after I give you a quick rundown of what we're talking about. Yes, the Paul versus Brodie drama continues, sort of, kind of ended. Happened to catch the debate night podcast right before I came on, and there have been some major updates to that too. And speaking of Paul McBeth, well, he is currently on his longest losing streak, and losing streak means just not getting first place. We're also going to be talking a little bit about casual relief, and of course, Ledgestone, that little tournament that nobody's ever heard about that happened this past weekend. You know, just one of those little things. But before we get into that, we have to thank our sponsor, Log. What rolls downstairs a loner in pairs? What rolls over your neighbor's dog? What's great for a snack and it fits on your back? It's Log, Log, Log. It's big, it's heavy, it's wood. It's Log from Blammo. It's better than bad. It's good. Everyone needs a log. Yes, you're gonna love it, Log. And we're done with our sponsor ad here. If you want to sponsor any part of Joe's Disc Golf, feel free to drop a line at contact@joesdiscgolf.com. Now, a little bit of a channel update here, and unfortunately, there was no live stream last week. I had some unfortunate things came up. I let you guys know on Twitter, so there was that. I know some of you were disappointed. Some of you were hoping to get your shots in at me, given my reporting of the Paul versus Brodie drama. On top of that, just, had some stuff going on. Couldn't quite make it. Couldn't make it work. We're on to it. And it's all good times now. Things are going forward. Reading plenty of books out there, including The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale and The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Frack. That is not the actual title. I can leave that in the description below. Both of them, depending on how you feel, if you are a little more classical minded from the, I believe this was written in the 50s, the Norman Vincent Peale Power of Positive Thinking, and a little more open to religion, that is the book for you. If not, the exact same themes are happening in The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Frack. And I cannot remember that author's name right off the top of my head. But both of them are fantastic books on how I'm actually using them to improve both my disc golf game and my channel. Because as the author of The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Frack says, you basically only have so many fracks to give in a given day, month, week, lifetime. And it is Mark Manson is the author. But yes, you can, it's basically going to help me better focus my time. It's helping me do some self-reflection, get down to the nitty-gritty of who Joe really is. And who is Joe? He's the guy who releases his in the bag to some interesting comments. But that is okay. I'm here. I put myself out on the internet, and I laugh at me. So you can laugh at me too. I guess we'll get into our title topic here, and that is the Paul versus Brodie saga that started all the way back just over a week ago, and it has unfolded a ton. I'm glad I'm actually recording this the day I am, because I was able to get a little more insight on everything. So this all started when Brodie disagreed with Paul's take on Nikko's suspension. And Paul's take is this: 9 months for a first-time offender. I understand the situation could have been handled differently, but to claim intimidation as the offense seems off to me. The official doesn't step back like someone who's intimidated. Sidebar: Paul is totally trying to gaslight you there. He also stares the player down instead of trying to defuse the situation. Don't know if he really watched the video. Professional officials should know that player stress levels elevated while competing in all sports, so why instigate the issue? I hope Nikko LaCastro appeals the situation. From what I saw, it's a Class C at most. Yeah, I know. Paul's wrong. Simple as that. I made a video about that. Paul is wrong. There was more that went on off camera where Nikko, again, was confronting this official in the parking lot, saying things, going off, not complying with an official PDGA investigation, which is what you're supposed to do. It's written in the rules. It's part of the things you agree to, whether you want to or not. If a tournament director or the PDGA starts a file and starts an investigation, you have to do that. So Brodie said that was a bad take by Paul. And from there, Paul said that Brodie had blocked him on Twitter, and the speculation ran rampant. This is the first real major online spat between two elite players. Now, I'm sure there's other stuff that has happened in the past, but this is in the modern era, the new era of disc golf, the post-Rona disc golf, as I like to call it. While Ricky and Paul don't, get along great and occasionally take veiled shots at each other during interviews, they've never been pretty much like, Paul's never been like, Ricky, I hate your guts. And Ricky has never been like, Paul, you're a stupid bastard. None of those things have been said publicly. Privately, who knows? Don't know, don't care. It's not been public. I view that as a friendly sports rivalry that does happen. Now, what has happened between Brodie and Paul seems to be more of the Bears versus Packers, the Bulls versus Pistons, the Sox versus the Chubs, the Blackhawks and Red Wings. Yes, I'm a Chicago sports fan through and through, if you couldn't tell. That's the kind of crap that you see between the two of them. So this is the new era of disc golf, and I expect to see more of this, although just said today, I'll continue going through this and add in what I learned today from the debate night and listening to Brodie's side of the story. Paul said that he liked that Brodie throws discs with his name on it, with Paul's name on it, and Brodie said that Lunas are great dog discs. By the end of Ledgestone, this was already gone by the wayside, although speculation was rampant and players' wives were being dragged into it and significant members of their family, and that's just not right. This is a spat between the two pros. Leave the wives and the hair out of it. So what sparked all of this? Well, back in, I believe it was January, Paul McBeth left Foundation Disc Golf because of essentially running out of Fs to give. And I mean that in the sense of the subtle art of not giving an F, where you only have so many to give per day. And Paul was focusing on disc golf and touring and the Paul McBeth Foundation and a bunch of other stuff, as well as Foundation Disc Golf. So he had to give up something. Obviously, he's not going to give up disc golf or touring or the brand new foundation with his name on it. So Foundation Disc Golf went by the wayside. Apparently, this is something he'd been thinking about for months. In that time, Brodie moved from Dallas to Lynchburg, Virginia, major city, small town. So that's something that happened there. Supposedly, as the story goes, Brodie was there for about a month. Paul calls a meeting, says, hey, peace out, deuces. Brodie's not very happy about that. And I wouldn't be either, because he uprooted his life from Dallas. Apparently, his wife, Kelsey's family all lives in the Dallas area, and she's only lived in Dallas. So not happy about family. Apparently, something else happened between a mutual friend and Brodie. Paul lied about it. Brodie got confirmation through a couple of other people, and he refused to go into details. Whatever it was, went against him and his family by this person, a mutual friend. Supposedly, Paul could have stopped some of this. Who knows? I don't know. Could be all true. Could be a line of crap, essentially, or is somewhere in the middle. I don't know, and nobody's going to corroborate this story. So there was all that happened. Brodie never really got resolution from it. There was never a moment where they had a come to Jesus, essentially. And it all ended up spilling out online, which fueled all this. Brodie admitted he did not handle it well, and he apologized to his fans, to Paul, to everybody, it sounds like. Now, you're probably coming at me going, you hypocrite, you son of a beach. You didn't accept Nikko's and you're accepting Brodie's, and I'm not 100% sold. Anybody can blow smoke up your ass and just say that it's all fine and dandy and roses and peaches and kittens and puppies. But It's by their actions. And clearly, Nikko had apologized multiple times, and yet his actions said otherwise. Now, I'm going to try to take him at his word, but I'm going to be following his actions. Now, I don't expect him to be best friends with Paul McBeth. I just don't expect him to do some of this online stuff here. He said that he got a little carried away. He's human. We're all human. So we'll see where this goes. Again, I'm going to keep an eye on his actions and not just his word. As I'm sure we've all learned throughout these last 6 or so years in America, or even in the world, words and actions are two very different things, and you could say one thing and do something completely different. So I will be watching his actions and just kind of taking his words at face value. So there was that. If you want to know my full thoughts on Nikko's suspension, you can watch a video linked below. The TLDR seems about right, still pending an appeal. And as of right now, as of recording, the PDGA updated their current players with sanctions and suspensions and all that against them. It was dated August 16th, 2022, and Nikko still had his 9 months with 15 months probation. I fully expect him to appeal, but he has until, I believe he has about another 3 weeks to appeal this decision. Who knows if that's going to be public, but I will be keeping an eye on the disciplinary page to find out if, he's actually got something going on there or not. I don't know. Some people accused me of making up this Paul versus Brodie thing, and to them I said, have you been on disc golf Twitter? Have you looked? Just go to Twitter, go to Reddit, go to Facebook, on any one of the major disc golf hubs, and I was not making up anything. I was merely bringing up the news of disc golf. I am sorry if you don't like the news of disc golf, you can tune out. That's my thoughts there. Now, speaking of tuning out, we've got Paul McBeth, longest losing streak of his career, going all the way back to the start from when he signed up day one in the PDGA all those years ago with a little baby McBeth. When he was out there so cute throwing his little discs around, and now he's all grown up throwing around millions and millions of dollars and being the greatest disc golfer of all time, or at least of this generation. Because you could say Climo was, now you can say Paul is, and who knows who's going to be next? Is it going to be Eagle? Is it going to be Gannon? Is it going to be some 10-year-old that we don't even know about right now? Someone who may or may not have won Worlds. Someone who is from Fort Wayne. Could it be one Hiram? Who knows? But this is the longest time he's ever had, and currently he's played 12 tournaments with 0 wins. His first 10-plus winless streak happened between September and December 2012. The first time he lost 11 tournaments, and again, defining losing as not taking first place. Second place is first place loser. So, for the first time that happened, that was from April to August 2009. 2009. Where were you 2009? I was in college. Oh God, I'm old. Second time the 11 happened, it was September through March 2018. The first time he ever lost 8 in a row was April to July 2008. Holy crap. I was still in college. That was a year before. Try as he might, he tried to win the European Open, averaging 1072 golf. I can't even imagine what that's like. I'm elated when I shoot 950 golf. Absolutely through the moon. Like, I think my best ever round was like a 970 something. And you know why? It's because I did not give a crap, because the round before I shot like an 870 something. So there was like a 100-point swing between the two, which it's kind of funny what happens when you go from all intense and all in to screw it. I don't care. I'm just going to chuck this and see where it goes. And turns out it went pretty well. So he tried to break the streak, but Eagle bested him by a stroke because holy crap, that European Open was one for the ages. You need to go back and watch it, even if it's only just the Paul and Eagle coverage and you don't watch the whole tournament, you just go watch that. Oh my gosh, was that just so good? It was so beyond good. It was amazing to watch. And you know what else is amazing to watch? Some people on Reddit. Because disc golfers, some people on Reddit just don't get it. And I know I've had my dense moments in the past, and I know I will have my dense moments in the future, but I know that I'm still growing as a person, and I will only continue to grow if I admit when I'm wrong. And this time, and I have in the past, and I know I will in the future, this time it was pretty funny because one Reddit user complained about, I believe it was Sarah Hokum was the complaint because of her being on coverage, saying how absolutely ridiculous it looked that she was throwing from ankle deep water. And this is absolutely awful. And how come there are so many arbitrary lines everywhere for these random out of bounds things, but then not for this bit of water right here? And that, these arbitrary lines, someone just slaps them down haphazardly everywhere, and it's just the worst. And either this person couldn't or didn't want to understand the difference between OB and casual relief. Now, the commentators did say it, and I don't expect him to, but it was in the caddy book. There were, I don't remember specifically which hole he was talking about. There were two at Northwood Black. I believe it was 14 and 18, so it could have been either of those where there's spots that were marked as casual relief. So, first of all, good use of OB, both tries to protect players, tries to protect spectators, tries to make the course more difficult by narrowing in the field and narrowing in your landing zones. So that's one good use of OB. There's a couple different other ones out there. Like I mentioned, safety reasons and dividing fairways. Again, a safety reason. Casual relief is commonly used when you are near, say, too close to a fence. You could take casual relief up to a meter back. But if it's a barbed wire fence, you get 2 meters back. I believe, don't quote me on that exactly, but I believe that's how it works. You can take casual relief when noted specifically by the tournament director. So if your lie is too close to unsafe footing or it's in a large puddle that is noted as casual relief, or a small creek like at Northwood Black, you can take casual relief in a straight line back from the pin. So it's you're here, right in front of me is the pin, and I just can go in this straight line, straight backwards. I can't get any closer to it, but you can keep going backwards. And sometimes that could be good. Sometimes that could be bad. Who knows? In the circumstance where Sarah Hokum decided to play her lie with her foot in the creek, ankle deep, it was probably better. She had a much better shot from throwing there than even going 3 feet back, 6 feet back, 10 feet back, 20 feet back. She probably had a really good look at the basket from where she was, or she made the corner just far enough where if she goes back even 2 feet, you're not making the corner that easy. So those are some of the different things there. You don't have to take it. That's the thing about casual relief. It's casual. You don't have to take it. So just going to throw that out there. Just like I said, you might have a better lie. You might have things like that where it's just like, okay, well, I'm gonna take this here because, well, this is better for me. That's it. All right. I guess we should talk about Ledgestone. Ledgestone. This small little hole in the wall tournament that I don't know if anybody watched it, anybody saw anything. We will have one thing that I won't bring up at the end about Disc Golf Network, but we'll save that for the end. One of the big things that happened there, Ricky wins 2.5 in a row. Yes, I'm saying 2.5 because he shared the win last year with Kyle Klein. And that was due to the weather. The nasty storm rolled in, destroyed everything. People couldn't get their rounds in. It was completely unsafe. Couldn't delay, couldn't get the final round in. So he was definitely on track. They were tied going into round 4. But at that point where the Storm had canceled the tournament, he was pretty far ahead. He was pulling away. Not saying that he couldn't have lost it, but I'm saying I would have kept my money on Rick than Kyle. Just going to throw that out there. In this final round, he managed to score 6 birdies, 8 through 13. Some of the harder holes out there. And don't worry if you didn't see it. You probably missed 8 and 9 because they're at Northwood. No, they're at Eureka Temp. My bad. The women were at Northwood. So this is the first MPO player to get 3 Elite Series wins this year. If you think back, we've had a multitude of different winners, and some people have won 2. A lot of people have won 1, but yeah, for the most part, we've had a lot of different winners, and nobody seems to be able to run away with it because the field this year in both the MPO and FPO is getting pretty deep. And so it's getting a lot harder to win. So when somebody like Rick, or Paul, is used to winning all the time, and Paul hasn't won in 12 tournaments, and Ricky just won his 3rd, period. Just 3rd. That's it. And he's having a good year. So, yeah. What can we expect from Ricky? I expect him to carry this momentum into Des Moines. I believe he's still registered. Who knows, by the time this comes out, he could drop, he might not, I don't know. He could be trying to get some extra rounds in at Worlds where, I'd be hard pressed to bet against him, to be completely honest. He's doing a really good job right now. And you know who else is starting to really hit their stride and do a really good job? It's Missy Gannon. She hits her stride at the end of the year again. Like in 2021, Missy Gannon is tearing it up at the end of the year. She had a slow start, although our expectations were pretty darn high. She had a phenomenal start to the end of the year last year, 2021, and we were expecting her to carry that momentum through into Vegas and Waco and everything else in between. But that didn't quite happen. However, she definitely showed that she was the best person to win this tournament. And now that Missy has won this tournament, she has won Ledgestone, she has joined what I'm going to call the Magnificent Seven. That is Katrina Allen, Valerie Montejano, Paige Pierce, Kristen Tatar, Haley King, Natalie Ryan, and Missy Gannon have all won an FPO Elite Series event this year. Talk about parity. I don't know what else you want from this. It has been pretty damn entertaining to watch. It has been so much fun. And speaking of Kristen Tatar, she's back. She had a share of 3rd place in this, but she was showing signs of her injury. She is definitely injured. She isn't talking about it. She didn't use it as an excuse. This is the first time that she's been in the US this year and hasn't gotten 1st or 2nd. She still maintains her podium streak, taking 3rd place, a share of it, and has said in the past that this is a nerve-related issue, but the doctors and therapists have told her that she can play through it without causing any other harm. I'd be curious what that's all about. Just given that she throws sidearm a fair amount, it's a sizable one at that. There are a couple things that I could think that are going on that you could play through without causing any issues or minimal issues. Like if the damage is already done, it's done. Not a big deal. She seems to have some pretty good control on it, although, things are starting to bug her. You could tell, you could see it on coverage if you got to see the coverage. And that brings me into my final point. Disc Golf Network. They've been doing a pretty good job this year. I still do not have a subscription to that because, Elaine King is still there. And I'm still holding on to that from what happened back at the Players Cup. So, Champions Cup. Close enough. But they outright said that, hey, Northwood Black, we're not covering the front 9 because we don't have good enough cell reception to be able to do that. Okay. You guys last year, this was kind of a surprise to you. I'll give that to you. You didn't know that cell coverage there sucked. You knew this year, and yet you still went through with going there. Now, I don't know how much say you totally have, but I'm gonna guess that more and more people are going to get pissed off. So I didn't watch any of the final day really because I couldn't see most of that. And then I got busy. And so I didn't get in my normal routine because that's the day that's free on YouTube. So viewership was definitely down. So you got to do something. You got to figure out something. I don't know what that issue is, whether that is at Ledgestone installing Wi-Fi repeaters everywhere to be able to do this, rent one of those local cell towers to be able to get your cameras to work. I don't know what the great answer is, but you got to do something. You guys are starting to get big enough and you've been around the block enough times to know that this excuse of not covering the women's front nine is a load of crap. And you're full of it if you are going to give any excuses. You have a lot of paying customers, a lot of paying subscribers. You've got ad revenue from YouTube. You got to figure something out because this is now becoming the talk of the town. This is not the first source talking about this. And I know I'm not going to be the last. Plenty of other people have talked about this. They've talked about it on social media. They've talked about it online and Facebook and other YouTube videos, other podcasts, and all that fun jazz. So you got to figure your crap out. You can't get away with, well, we're that plucky young upstart now. You've been around for 6 years. You started in 2016 and you have gotten better since then. And I applaud that. You have made some significant improvements from last year, 2021, to this year, 2022. There's still a long way to go. There are plenty of issues out there that are frustrating to listen to, including when you try to throw it out to the field reporter, whether that is Terry Miller or Brian Earhart, and they're just not there. Or the connection is garbled and muddied, and God, I wish they even sounded like a robot because at least then I'd hear something. But there's times where it's like, and Kristen threw that shot. What? What did you just say before that? Sounded like you're gargling hot dogs. I don't know. Maybe you were. I don't judge. But, I'm going to blame not the field reporter. I'm going to blame Disc Golf Network and their lack of ability to communicate with their field reporters and having a good, strong connection between the two. I don't know what you do to fix that exactly, but if you're using cell phones, it ain't quite working right. If you are using walkie-talkies, it ain't quite working right. Maybe you should try the other one. So there's that. I get it. You're not going to have the fancy high-priced microphones and have that awesome connection like you see on ESPN or ABC or CBS or NBC or Fox Sports or whatever. I get that. But what you're doing now doesn't quite work. There you go. Rant over. Don't we all feel better now? So there is that. And yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know what else to say, but there we go. I know, a little more subdued today. If you're listening, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram at Joe's Disc Golf. There's joesdiscgolf.com, which is currently trying to be updated. Working on it, one-man show. What can I say? Outside of that, thank you all for the support. Thank you all for the kind words and the encouragement. I appreciate everybody. You don't understand how far those kind words go and how those people are like, hey, you're doing a good job, or hey, even the constructive criticism. I appreciate it. I really do. Thank you all. I really do appreciate you. Over 700 subscribers. When I started this channel just over a year ago, I believe it was, or is it 2 years ago? When did I start this channel? I want to say it's been we're coming up on 2 years in December. And I want to thank you all. When I started this, I never would have thought I would have been here. A couple of videos that have got quite a few views on them. A lot of videos that don't, but that's okay. I enjoy making the content. I just put out some new content recently, the In the Bag, and who knows what else is coming out here soon. Unfortunately, I lost the footage from my mountain trip up in northern Michigan, so there will not be any of that footage. That actually hurts because that was fun. That was a ton of fun to do. But thank you all for watching. If you get a great tree kick, don't forget to thank Treesus. And if you get kicked deeper into the woods, well, you need to reflect and repent because you have transgressed against Treesus. As always, I've been Joe, you've been awesome, and I can't wait to see you all in the next video.